everyone, welcome back to RachandBellaCrafts. It's Rachel here. So for today's video I'm going to show you how to make some really easy pockets out of book pages. So I'm sure you've all got this problem where we have all these leftover book pages and we're not really sure what we're supposed to do with them all, and also some of the more awkward shaped ones as well. So I'm going to show you today how to make a pocket like this, simply using leftover book pages. Okay, so the first thing that you will need is a book page. Now, if you have been careful pulling your book pages out of your book and have managed to take them out so that you've got those that are still folded together, so in other words, the double spread, they're obviously the preference for this project. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. You'll just have to do this as two separate sheets of paper, and I'll show you that in a second, but it's not a problem. So the idea is with this this pocket is that this will become part of the pages of your journal. So you will stitch this in with other pages, and it will open and fold, you know, as other sections of your journal will, as part of the signature, sorry. So this here will be a book page. So think about when you're picking your, when you pick up your sheets of paper and you've got your book pages, think about what you'd like to be on show and what you wouldn't want to be on show. This one's easy because it's music paper, and we all love music paper. It doesn't really matter what's on there. Obviously just check your words, make sure that if there's anything that's preferable or perhaps goes with your theme better, you know, you might want to go and have that on the front, because this is the section here that you're going to see, just these triangle corners here, and then obviously what's inside. So the first thing that you want to do is open up your double spread, or if you're doing it with a single page, open up your single page and just very carefully fold it the other way so you can find the center of the page. Now don't draw a big line down with your finger, you literally are just going to mark that corner there, okay? And then we're going to put the page back. So I'm going to do that really slowly again, just in case I did it too fast. So open up your double spread, turn it that way, and then you're going to fold it in half. Make sure your lines meet at the top, and then literally just pinch that centre bit there. Don't go running a crease all the way down. So when you fold it back up now, you should have a nice little crease mark there. Then you want to reopen your page, and you're simply going to bring in your wings. Look for that little fold mark there, so you know you've got the centre. And then, there we go, take your triangle down. Now, it's not absolutely imperative that they meet. In fact, it's probably better that they don't meet, because this is going to be part of your signature. So the less bulk you add in your signature, obviously, the better. So it doesn't matter if they're not tight together. In fact, it's probably better if they're not. And that's it. You expected me then to get really complicated, weren't you? That is it. There's your pockets, there's your page. Now you might say, well, that looks a bit boring. Well, yeah, it is at the minute. So obviously there are other things that we can do with it. So for example, if you're using a book page that hasn't got like this terribly pretty design on the front, I don't really want toad in the hole on the front of my, I do apologise, I think it's actually Dutch bread. I don't really want that on the front of my pocket. So what you would then do is you'd look at collaging over the top, as I've done here. So I've just used some of our new kit here, our Sweet Like Honey kit, and I've literally just taken some of the pages and collaged straight over the top with it, and then uses some little decorative elements. However, if you do have a really good book page or something that is quite decorative in itself, for instance, this, now that's perfect. I wouldn't particularly want to touch that. You know, you might want to add a little bit of lace across the bottom, or, you know, you might want to add a further pocket onto the front of that. But when you've got a nice pattern, obviously make the most of what you've got. So obviously check out, I didn't fold it that way, you see, because the beautiful flowers were running the wrong way. So at least by doing it this way, everything is coming down the page. So obviously I can add things to that then as and when I need to. Another example, I've got here a nice book page, but it's an old French almanac, and this is off a digital format, but it's perfectly nice. And if I was making a vintage journal, that would be ideal in there. So I would literally just ink up my edges, and then in it would go, and I got a little pocket in there. Now it doesn't matter what size paper you're using. It doesn't matter if it's A4, it doesn't matter if it's A5, it doesn't matter if it's somewhere in between. It really doesn't matter, because as long as from the top to the bottom it will go into your journal. I hope I'm making sense what I'm saying there. Let me get that one. So if imagine this is your signature, as long as it fits in there height wise and width wise, it's fine. It really doesn't matter. So, you know, it doesn't matter if it's smaller. I mean, we'd like to have, you know, a combination of sizes, don't we? I'm just going to show you another example of how you can fold it if you have got a book page that opens on the side. So this one here, for instance, it's come from a long shape book. So obviously my fold is up here, but I can't do it with the page this way because it's going to be too tall to sit in the journal. So I need to turn it that way. Obviously, we're trying to not waste paper here as well. So I'm just trying to think, like, how can I use this? Okay, so this is a type print. It's an old typing book it is. And the type is running the wrong direction. But because the type is quite attractive, the font, I'm not worried about that. I think that's be quite nice. I'll just double check that the inside is also okay and what I want on show. So what you then need to do is take a pair of scissors and cut down, not all the way, but cut down about 3/4 of the way of the page. So probably down to the last but one thing. And then in order to find the center of this one, you're not going to turn it that way and pinch the end. You're going to just open the one page and then simply fold the front sheet over and then pinch the top of that, and that'll give you then your center, so you know where you're folding. Then we're going to turn the paper around and we're going to bring our pocket down the front here. Come on, there we go. Oh, it doesn't want to be folded, this page, my goodness. Right, there we go. So you've got one there and you've got one there, and then you simply fold that back across on the hinge, and there you have a pocket. Now obviously the bottom is not sealed on this. That's not a problem. You can either run a little bit of glue across there, or you can pop it through your machine and run a stitch across there. That's, you know, very easily remedied. Or even if you wanted to get very fancy and you had some nice washi tape, you could just fold that over both sides, and again that would secure it in place. You would want to, you may want to glue your flaps down when you're making your pocket, and then if you have folded them, glued them down, you may be quite happy to just leave them as they are, or as I've done here, I have stitched the top of mine. Well, I've stitched up both sides as well. I've also stitched then to close it. So I went right up the page because I thought that was quite a nice finish for it. You don't have to stitch them. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can just use glue to finish it off. Other ideas that you can use for this pocket, you can use if you've got a punch that does edging. That would be really nice, pretty decorative edge across there. But from the construction perspective, if you're working either with a page that opens that way, it's as simple as that, or if you're working with a page that opens that way, the fold is as simple as that. And then obviously you look then at putting your page together. Now don't glue anything until you're absolutely happy with your final pocket, because once it's glued down, obviously you can't alter anything or change anything. Now something else that I did when I was looking for book pages earlier on, I came across this one here. This is out of a, I'm not quite sure, encyclopedia for insects and animals, I think. Now I'm about to do a bee journal because obviously we've got our new kit out, Honeybee, and I want to make a journal with it. When I opened up this page and I thought, oh my goodness, that's lovely. But what I didn't want to do was to cut off half of the photograph. So if I had taken it straight up, I would have ended up with a fold like that, and I would have lost most of my bees. So what I did was I folded the page, I think is asymmetrically the word, a word rather, is that the right word? So what I did was I took the fold all the way across till I was satisfied that I had enough of the image. So just because it's obviously going to go in your journal, that you don't have to take your point right up to the top. You can bring these pockets down as low or as high as you like. It'll just need a little bit of adjustment. So what I then did on the other side was I folded that corner down there to make a second pocket, but I wasn't overly fussed when I shut the page of having that little gap there. So I've simply taken that down there. Now, depending on how bulky that remains, I may remove those pieces on the back afterwards, which we wouldn't normally have to do, but just obviously for you to be aware that, you know, you just can just do what you want to do to make the most of the backing. Okay, so obviously with this as well then, if I didn't want to cut it all off, I could just again run a stitch up there and around here just to secure that in place. But of course, bear in mind when you fix your pocket into your signature, however you bind your signature, this will become part of that, and that will hold the pocket closed anyway. So, you know, if you are going to take a low corner pocket on it, don't worry if you can't glue here, because it will be caught up as part of the signature, and that will hold it in place. Okay, so just a couple of other examples then of what here I've used I was going to say an Enid Blyton page, then it's not Enid Blyton, it's Edith Holden. Sorry, I've just given my son another book and I said, oh, here we are, Enid Blyton. No, it's not Enid Blyton, it's Edith Holden. So this is an Edith Holden page, and we all hate having to cut into these pages, so I quite like the idea of conserving some of this by using it as one of these pockets. So again, all I've done here simply is to just fold those down, and then of course you've got that lovely text then behind, and then you've got this beautiful image on the front. I probably wouldn't do much else to that either. I think perhaps a nice running stitch across that would be really nice, and then maybe some words. This one I found here earlier in I think probably the same encyclopedia that I got the bee one from. But I thought, oh, this would be ideal if you were doing the botanical one, because you've got your little critters here. I couldn't decide at first which ones to keep in, because obviously I had to fold something down. I didn't quite like the look of him, so I thought, right, we'll tuck him away there. And then on the back, I've got this lovely then diagram then of, well, actually, I don't even know what that is. Oh, I see, right, it's the little animal in its larvae. Oh, lovely, okay, great. And then on this side then we've got another creature, so that's quite cool. But yeah, I thought that would be great in a botanical journal. And then of course you've got your botanical words behind, and you can add whatever you wanted to that. So again, going back to some basics, this is just some of the ones I did earlier on. These are just basic ones. You know, there's so many things that you could do with them. It's also a great way as well to use up those blank pages that, you know, we don't always want to put these in if there's got just a little bit of text and the rest is blank, because you can collage straight over the top of that then. Now, I was saying earlier on about not worrying about the size of the book page. So this is an example of one here. So I've got one A4 sheet, and rather than me, like, you know, cutting a bit off or wherever here and there, I can simply fold that up, again making sure I get what I want in the picture. So, oh, that's lovely, let's have that image there. So now this has become my double page, if that makes sense. So, and this will fit then into the journal. So I'm just going to take it across and pop that there so I can get my half mark, and then we'll bring our pockets in, and hopefully they'll come together. Marvellous. Obviously when you're using thick paper like this, that's when your bone folder comes in to play. And there we go, a lovely decorative pocket. And of course, you know, if you do have things like this on the side, don't be put off from using those bits of paper, and perhaps don't be tempted to cut them off either, which I know in the early days I used to do a lot. If something was not quite right, I'd cut it off. But you know, you can just add something over that, or pop something over there, and a bit of lace across the edge of here. I mean, you know, we've just finished our boho journal, but these trims, they cry out to be used on the corners of these pockets. I think that would look really, really pretty on there. And again, then the same with the music paper. These are just so easy and ideal to decorate. So I'm going to just really quickly do this one with you now, because I've shown you all the examples that I've done here. And I'm just going to quickly show you how I collaged my page. So again, just double checking which one I prefer. Gosh, this paper's thick. I thought I had two there then. Right, that's a nice busy page. So again, I'm going to take it across, get my centre fold. This paper does not want to play ball today. And it's such a lovely day as well. A really lovely spell of sunshine here at the minute. Don't know how long it's going to last. We're in Wales, so this could be our summer. So we just got to go and make the most of it. So we've been gardening a lot the last couple of days. And yeah, it's just been a nice change. Okay, so that's your pocket done. So the next thing you're going to want to do then is grab a couple of sheets of whatever paper you decide to use. So I'm going to work with a couple from our Sweet Light Honey kit, because I love this kit, in case you hadn't guessed. Again, just looking at what you can work with your page, and remembering, if you want to, of course, at this point, you can fold your page in half so you can see where your centre point is. So I'm just going to quickly fold that down there, and then I'm going to pop that on there. I think get my edging ruler. I'm going to pop that in there, and then let's just decide how much of this we want to, or rather how deep our pocket is. There we go. So let's just and then the bottom, just pop that in again, check where we're at, and then have that there. There we go. So simple as that. If you just take the shape from, again, like I say, using your ruler on the edge of the pocket, and just make the folds while you've got the paper sat over the top. And it's just a really quick and easy way to then be able to collage over the top without having to keep guessing, and then you're not wasting the sheet of paper that you're collaging from then either, because you've done it to fit. Before you stick anything on, at this point now, you might just want to edge your pocket. Obviously, depending on what book page you've used, because I'm using music paper, I definitely want to just ink that before I do anything else, because it will disappear into the background behind, won't it? There we go. Okay. Yeah, happy with that. That's great. So we'll look at that in a second. And then the other side, if we do the same thing here. I do hope you're all well and able to enjoy some sunshine and summer wherever you are. Hope your weather's playing ball. Because let's be honest, it took a long time coming this year, didn't it? My goodness, I didn't think we were ever going to have summer. Must have been one of the longest and wettest and coldest springs I think we've had here in a long time. But it's such a relief now to finally put the jumpers away for a little while. I'm just going to try and prize my son's coat and jumper off him. He's still going into school with a jumper and a jacket. I'm like, you really don't need to wear all those clothes, son. But no. It's like a security blanket, I think, with them sometimes, isn't it? I know I was like that as a teenager. You always want to keep a jacket on or something with you. I think we used to wear like the zip-up hooded sports jackets when I was young in the 90s. Terrible fashion. Oh my goodness. If there was an era you could avoid, I would definitely vote for the 90s. I really can't recall much that was great that came out of that. It was not a great decade to be a teenager in, that's for sure. It was just no style at all. So there we go. We survived, didn't we? Shell suits. Oh my word, my goodness. Let's not even think about them. I can remember the ones my grandmother used to work. Gosh, I had forgotten about this. How ideal that would have been for us now. But my grandmother used to work in a charity shop in the local town, and I now and again go down and stay with her and my grandfather, and I remember the one year. Oh my gosh, it was awful. The one year we'd been to the seaside for the day. I'd been with my mum and dad, and I think we'd gone with like I think it was the church, maybe, I can't quite remember now. Or it was yeah, it must have been the church, I think. And we went on the bus. My dad drove a bus down, and I remember being on the beach, and it was like quite a windy day, and I burnt quite badly because I got quite fair skin, and when I was younger I used to burn terribly. And it was, you know, that kind of weather that, because it was a bit overcast, you kind of were in a bit of a false sense that, oh, I don't need to worry about my back or whatever. Anyway, I burnt on my back and my shoulders because I was just running with my swimming costume on. I must have been about 11, I think. Yeah, no, I must have been younger than that, actually, because my grandfather was there. I don't know, I was about 10 or 11 anyway. So not like, really like, you know, teenager as in, oh, I wouldn't wear that, but a little bit conscious about self at that point. And my parents dropped me at my grandparents' house on the way home, and it was arranged that I was going to be staying there for a couple of days. I don't know, it must have been the holidays or something. And my grandmother had rung me the night before and had said, oh, I've got a surprise for you when you come. Yes, gosh, I've been into the shop, she said, and oh, you'll be ever so excited. So I was like, all right, okay, this is nice. Let's see what grandma's come up with now this time. When I got there, she insisted that I go and try this outfit on like straight away, and I was trying to explain to her that I'd actually burnt on my back and it was like quite painful. And of course, you know, it's like when you get in and then you've had a bath or a shower, and if you catch a scent, and it's like really sore then after that, isn't it? And I'd gone there, and obviously because we'd come from the beach, I'd gotten straight in their bath. And as I got out, there she was with this bag, wanting me to try this outfit on. So I was like, oh, have I really got to do this now, Grandma? And she was like, yes, come on, try it on. I'm sure it'll be fine. You know, it'll probably be comfortable. You can wear it now. So I was like, oh, right, okay. Well, when she opened the bag, oh my goodness. Have I got anything on? Oh, I have. I got something here, that colour on my desk. Right, here we go. So a bit of visual aid. Now, I love this colour. I don't necessarily want to be dressed head to toe in it, though. And I certainly didn't at 10. She handed me I couldn't even tell you what the material was. It wasn't quite shell suit, but it was like naff shell suit material, all in this colour. So the whole thing was this like pucey mauve colour, and the inside it was like white with this like funny material, and I was like really funny about like polyester, didn't like the feel of that and kind of thing when I was a kid. And she made me put this blinking shell suit on and took a photograph of me in it. I don't know who on earth she thought she was going to show the photograph to, but I was like, no, you cannot let anybody see me in this suit. It was awful. And that picture, I'm sure, is still at my mum and dad's house, because I know I see it quite often. So I don't know where it is, but it still haunts me to this day. Me in my sunburn, dressed in this horrendous mauve shell suit knockoff thing that my gran had got from the second-hand shop, which obviously at the time I just thought was awful. Because it wasn't even new. But that wasn't the thing, though. It wasn't the fact that it was from the charity shop that I was bothered by. It was just the fact that it was just awful, and I just didn't like it. And that photograph, and she made me wear it then the next day. We went to visit my great aunt, her sister, and she made me wear it as well. And very often when I used to stay with my grandparents, my second cousins would be staying with their grandma, who was my great aunt, and you know, we'd meet up and we'd go off and do things like go to the pictures and stuff, or get the bus and go down to Toys R Us or something like that and just have a look around. And I was mortified at the thought of going to Auntie Peggy's house in case my cousins were there and they saw me in this awful shell suit. Thankfully on that occasion they weren't, so the only person who had to be witness to my horror and embarrassment was my grandparents. But I can remember my grandfather having a quiet laugh and giving me a wink as if to say, don't worry, when she's out the way we'll hide it, she won't know. But I love my grandmother to bits, but she was wicked all the time. She didn't really have much sense of what was cool, unfortunately. When you're 10, that's just not great, is it? So there we are, bless her. She was very kind, my granny, very kind. So there we go. Well, I've been waffling away about my awful mauve shell suit. I finished my pocket. So I hope you like it. I'm just wondering if I got a little bit of something there. No, that's the wrong colour. somewhere on my desk is a huge tub of scrap materials. Aha, I've got it. Okay, let me just see if there's something in here. Oh, that would do. That'll do nicely. And I can just back my my word with that, and then we'll be done. Okay, so really simple pocket, nice and easy to do. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you want, but it has the added bonus of not only is it a pocket, it's also a page in your signature, and it's a page in the signature then that you don't have to decorate because it's already done, because we are all very busy, aren't we? There you go. I hope you enjoyed that today. I hope you found the video nice and easy. If you were unsure of anything I did, just tap rewind and take it back, and I'll show you all over again. But take care. I'll be back with you very soon. Bye now.